I want to preface this by there's nothing that you're going to say that's going to make me mad or anything like that. I want you to be 100% genuine with all your answers. If you think I was totally fucking cuckoo crazy or you thought I was totally making everything up, tell me that. Okay? If that's your legit feelings in that moment. Okay? Well, hello.
Hello.
There's going to be a funky glare on my glasses, but whatever. Okay, so the last video that I did, stop staring at yourself. You fucking weirdo.
But I look good.
Anyways, so the last video I did was my perspective on my fucking rock bottom. So now, got some questions for you.
Okay.
On your experience, what your perspective was, all of that. Do you even remember?
No, I don't.
Well, I don't know how people, like, I don't know, you know. So, I'm going to get emotional, because I already am. So what was your perspective on people with mental health issues?
Well, I mean, I never really thought of it too much because I never really dealt with it too much.
Yes, because you come from a very vanilla childhood, for the most part.
Well, and that's what you think, but okay.
Well, seems pretty vanilla.
Well, there's definitely people that have it worse.
True. I mean, there's always somebody who has it worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so the way I always thought it was even when I was a teenager, even when I was in the middle of all that chaos, I still thought to myself, like, if you need a pill to make yourself happy, you know, like, you're just, I don't want to say stupid because that's not the right word, but like, why would you need a pill to make yourself happy? You know, because you always, you hear about like these rich people, oh, I'm so depressed. It's like, how are you depressed? You have money to do whatever the hell you want. But yet you need a pill to make you happy. That was always my thought.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, there's people that you look at, you're like, you're rich. Why would you need something like that?
Right.
But other than that, I've never really.
That was always my thought process. Is like, you need a pill to make happy. I'm sorry for you, bro. But that's even in the midst of all that when I was a teenager, too, and I still thought that.
Well, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I don't think that way anymore. Obviously, because I understand. I mean, I don't understand how the brain works, but I understand that my brain doesn't work like it should, apparently. Okay, so I'm assuming your answer is going to be no, but have you felt like you've had mental health issues ever?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Like when? How?
I mean, there's things that, yeah, I may have had a better childhood than some, but there's things that even in my childhood that are just like, in my family, that it's like, I think about constantly that it just, yeah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I don't want to like upset you or anything, but losing your daddy, like, bro, ooh,
Yeah.
that sucks, and I'm sorry for that. Okay, totally off topic. I know we've talked about this before, but, you know, because my dad is still alive, and I don't want anything to do with him, and yours sadly passed away, like, I think you would think that I would be like a selfish 3-year-old, you know what I mean? Because it's like, you would do anything to have a relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
And all I'm doing is pushing mine away because he's a giant jackhole.
Yes, but some dads are like that.
So,
That's, I don't have any issues with you pushing your dad away. I mean, when we first met, I didn't see all the douchebaggery, if you will. But...
because he puts up a face. Don't
Yeah.
eat my piece of paper, Massimo.
But I've seen it, so I get it.
Well, I know, but I've always felt that way, though, because it's just like, you know, if roles were reversed, you know, who knows, I might feel that way, but knowing, you know, just knowing that he's a douchebag, you know, I think makes it better. I don't know. I have a lot of questions, so. Okay. So, do you look at me differently now than you did before my cuckoo breakdown?
No. I have no reason to.
Why not?
Because you're still the same person.
Okay. Good answer. Does it make you upset that you alone can't make me happy? I have to take meds for that?
No. I mean, it happens. There's no reason to get upset because you have to take meds to make you happy.
Well, yeah, but like...
There's stuff that's happened to you that... There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, no. But I'm just saying, do you view me differently now that I'm on meds than I wasn't? Okay. Okay, so from your perspective, what happened that day?
Well, scary.
Okay, well, do you remember, like, the chain of events?
I don't
Anything?
remember exactly how everything happened. I remember you talking to me and telling me how you were feeling. And I also remember, I don't know if you do or not, but me telling you that if you needed to go in to get help, you needed to go in and get help. You know, if it's not something I can help you with, then you need to do it.
I remember, like, laying in the bed and you had told me something. And I'm like, well, that's not fucking gonna help or something like that. I don't even remember what you said.
I don't even remember what I said either.
But yeah, I remember laying in the bed just, yeah, it was a bad day. But, okay, so knowing what you know now, could you go back, if you could go back, would you do anything different?
You mean that day, or, I mean, I don't think there's anything I could have done different that day other than, you know, being there to support you
and tell me not to go to Dairy Queen.
That was my fault. Well, yes, but I didn't know all that at the time.
No. Okay, so, like, what were your thoughts when because I had to go, I went to a behavioral health center and I did, like, the little interview. Like, what were your thoughts? Well, like, what were you thinking of that time when I was getting my interview? Because he was in the room with me.
Well, I mean, there were things that I didn't know about.
Okay, like?
Well, I mean, I think you were, if I remember correctly, you were explaining the events that led up to you needing to go that day, basically. So there was some of the stuff that in there that I didn't know about, and some of the stuff that you were talking about that, you know, I might have known some of it, but I didn't know all of it, kind of thing. So
you said you were scared. Was there anything else, like, did you think this was, like, legit, or did you just think I was just fucking cuckoo?
No, I believed you, and I thought it was legit. I didn't think you were cuckoo. Never did. Never have. Never will.
Well, I am cuckoo.
I may tell you you're cuckoo sometimes, but that has nothing to do with this.
Well, it's okay. It's official because I failed the psych eval for the police department, so it's official. I'm crazy.
No, whatever. You're not cuckoo.
But whatever. Excuse me. Do you see me as broken or unfixable?
No.
You don't think so?
No.
I'm not broken. Okay. In a perfect world, would you take it all away or would you leave it?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Well, in a perfect world, would I need to take it away?
Okay. If you had the ability to take it away, would you take it away or would you leave it? This is more thought-provoking. And I have an answer on this one as well.
Well, I can't really say because I really don't know. I mean, everything that happens. There's no real way to take it away.
Well, I know, but if, you know.
I mean, if I could take it away, all the pain away, sure, I would.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I mean, I don't really think about that kind of stuff because it's like, what's happened has happened. I can't take anything away.
Well, yeah. But like I
mean,
said, in a perfect
you gotta
world.
admit, all the time, I tell you, if I could take your pain away, I would.
Well, yeah.
And I mean it. If
Yeah.
I could, I would, but I can't, so I can't.
Yeah. But my thought on it is, and I'm going to get emotional just saying this, but where would I be if none of that happened?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, would I be sitting here with you? Because it's like, who knows? Like, you know, because it's like everything that happened made me want to do what I wanted to do in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that's...
Well, yeah, if something else had happened differently, would we have ever met?
Right.
I mean, I get that.
And so, I mean, as much as it fucking sucks and all of that, I wouldn't change it. I mean, it fucking sucks. I mean, it's not like I can change it anyways, but you know what I mean? Because it's like, who knows where I would be?
Right.
Because it's like, I don't know if I'd have that drive to want to help people or, you know what I mean? Like, do what I do for a living. So, do you think I'm in a better place now than what I was previous? Or is there really no change? Like, I mean, I had my breakdown, obviously. That was, like, the low point.
Mm-hmm.
But prior to that and now, is there a difference that you can see or no?
I mean, there's some differences, but, I mean, I think all in all, I think it helped you for the most part, and I think it's changed you for the better. I mean, there are certain aspects of life that are different, which don't bother me, but...
Okay. Well, like, what do you see? Do you see something specifically different?
No, not, I mean...
Does it, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't notice there are different things. You know what I mean?
I mean, you're still you, no matter what. You're
Well,
still
yeah.
the same person, it's just... I guess, unless you just haven't spoken with me about it, you know, it seems to not be as big of, like, it doesn't come out as much as it did before.
Like, what do you
The
mean?
breakdown. Well, like, before, I mean, yeah, you still have your times where you're not feeling the greatest about everything that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
But before, you were having more instances, it felt like, where, you know, there would be times where it would just hit you, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
Are you
for
talking
me-
about, like, the incident in the parking lot in Walmart? Back in Jamestown? Because I had, like, a mini breakdown there.
Well, I mean, just, there was other instances, too, where...
Well, that's the only
you know,
one I
you
really
would-
remember.
I mean, not that you broke down, but that you'd have those times where you would just be depressed
Mm-hmm.
about everything that's happened. And,
Of everything in, like...
yeah, everything in
Like-
general.
Okay.
But now it doesn't seem to happen as much. To me.
Okay, so, like... How did I act while I was depressed or whatever you're talking about? Like, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, you could just tell that you weren't feeling great about things. And there were times where you talked about it. You know, it's that time of the year where,
Right.
you know.
Well, yeah, because that's basically,
Yeah.
like, the whole cycle of
Right.
everything. So, yeah. Okay, makes sense.
That's what I'm talking about. Like,
Okay.
it's that time of the year, so you're automatically
Right.
feeling depressed about it. And you can tell when you're feeling depressed. And since
How do you tell?
you had your tells.
Again, I'm just me.
I
I
could always tell when something was wrong, and most of the time when I'd ask about it, you know, you wouldn't necessarily go into detail. You'd just like, it's that time of the year.
Okay.
And now it's like, you don't really have those tells. I mean, I haven't really.
Yeah, because it really, I mean, honestly, it really hasn't been on my mind. I mean, what? Because it's normally around, what, May, June-ish?
See, now I couldn't even tell you when it's normally.
Yeah, I don't know either, because it was just...
But, yeah, before that all happened, before that day, you know, when it would hit that time of the year, you'd automatically... I mean, I wouldn't necessarily always remember that it was that time of the year, but I could tell something was wrong. Mm-hmm. And then if I asked you about it, you basically kind of just... You wouldn't necessarily go into all the details. You'd just be like, it's just that time of the year kind of thing.
Okay.
But now you don't really do that anymore.
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I talked about it.
Yeah. So.
It doesn't seem to be so much an issue much anymore. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I went to therapy for, however many months after I get out. And it's like, that's what we talked about. And then it was just... I don't know. I think finally just being able to say it out loud as somebody I am obviously.
Other than me.
Yeah, because like obviously I've told him obviously, but like to say it to somebody else and for them to acknowledge that, I think probably helped a lot.
Yeah, and like I said, since you had that breakdown and since you went to therapy and all that stuff, I haven't really, you know. Like I said, when it's that time of the year now, I don't know because...
Yeah, it hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah.
Crazy. That's fucking bizarre. I had never thought of that until you had just said something, because you're right. I mean, I remember, you know, that whole cycle of everything, but now it's just like, it seems just like,
Yeah. And...
I don't know if that's the meds or...
I don't know.
The therapy or a combination of both or what, but it's literally not. And I did see this thing on Facebook. I know this is totally off subject, but well, not really off subject, but I seen this thing on Facebook about how it's like 7 or 8 years or whatever, like you get like all new skin to where, you know, those people didn't touch you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like. So right now I have skin that they never touched.
Right.
And I think that helped a lot as well, just thinking about that. You know, I have skin that none of them touched, my dad didn't touch, you know? Mm-hmm. And I think that helps out a lot. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But it seems pretty cool if it was true. I mean, it makes sense.
And even if it wasn't, it's a good thing to think about.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I mean, and I think that's something so incredibly powerful for someone who's been in those shoes or whatever, so I think that's pretty sweet. Okay, so another question. What do you know, if anything, about PDD? Persistent depressive disorder. Do you know anything other than what I've told you? Or what do you know? What?
Not really. I mean, not really anything other than what you've told me.
Okay. Do you remember what it is?
Oh, not 100% exactly.
Okay. But I'm going to explain it to you and to them again. So, basically what it is like you have, it's kind of like bipolar, but on a long-term scale. So the bipolar individuals, they can be manic and they can be depressive. Like, it can just be a switch, like within hours, minutes, days, maybe even a week. I don't know. I'm not bipolar, so I don't know. But they have these, they're on a roller coaster pretty much all day long. Or several days. But for PDD, you'll be going where you're functioning, and then you'll drop down to where you're super depressed. And that was the cycle that I was on. Mm-hmm. And then you'd get back up here, and you'd function. But it was on, like, months or years. Yeah. Because it was like, I went years with being, you know, functioning, and then... I think my first drop was maybe sophomore year of college. Eesh, give or take. I don't think it wasn't a real dip, but I know it was a dip. But I know my junior year of college for sure it hit real bad because I didn't get up. I failed so many classes that semester. It was like I just couldn't get out of bed and go. So I remember that. But yeah. So you're just like on this giant fucking roller coaster of years and months long, and it's not a fun roller coaster.
Yeah.
But that's basically what it is. Is what it's the name suggests. It's persistent. It's annoying. Okay, this is a random like thing that I threw in there. Does it bother you when I sleep and I put my hand on you?
It depends on the day.
So for those of you who are like, what the... So when I sleep, we sleep just like this. I'm on this side and he's on this side. When I sleep on my left side, I like to stretch my arm out and I like to like have it somewhere on him. So if it's his shoulder when he's laying on his back, or you know, his other arm when he's laying towards me, it just, I don't know if I've ever actually explained why I do it, but it just makes me comfortable to know that he is there and beside me. And even when he's not there, I'll bunch up his blankets to make it seem like he's still there, so I sleep better. So it's a comfort thing for me.
Sometimes she bunches up my blankets and still them from me, even when I am there.
Well, it's a comfort thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, okay, he's still here. He hasn't left me yet, he's still here. And it just makes me feel more comfortable knowing that he's there.
And the only time it actually bothers me is, she will tell you, I absorb heat. And when I'm already hot and she throws her hand on me and I have to absorb her heat, she's going to start feeling it because I'm going to start emitting heat.
But it's just something, I don't know if I've done it the whole time or not, or has it been more so after?
More so after.
Okay. I thought so, but I wasn't for sure. But yeah.
I don't think you ever really did it before.
Yeah, I don't think so either, but it was just, I don't know, it just seems...
Occasionally, but yeah.
Like, it just, I don't know. It just grounds me a little bit more. Where do you think I'd be today if I didn't have, or if I didn't go in and get help?
That's hard to say. Because I think at the time, you needed to get help, otherwise the unthinkable would have happened.
Probably. Because, I mean, she didn't live with us at that time.
Yeah.
She was just at Grandma's house. Crazy. I honestly, I agree with that statement. If I probably wouldn't have went in, it probably would have been adios muchachos, probably. As awful as that sounds. So, I don't know. Do you feel that you got robbed of a normal marriage?
No.
That your wife is...
No.
You don't think you were robbed?
When have we ever had a normal marriage?
Well, this is true, but...
I'm saying that, but, I mean, as a joke, but at the same time, it's like, what's a normal marriage?
Somebody's that's not cuckoo, that has to go into the fucking loony bin?
You're not cuckoo just because you have to go in and get help.
Well, I'm just saying, like, that would be a normal, quote-unquote, a mind idea of a normal marriage where, you know, somebody doesn't have to go into the cuckoo hospital and spend a week.
In my opinion, there's no such thing as a normal marriage.
Political answer.
I'm just saying, there's really, you can't look at any married couple and say, oh, they have a perfect marriage.
Well, I didn't say anything about perfect.
But normal would be a perfect marriage. Nobody has a perfect marriage.
I suppose. But there are some that are more normal than others, I would say.
But still, I mean, normality is
boring
in the mind.
It's boring.
What is normal? This is a whole other subject here.
This is
what is normal?
Hi, how are you? Wonderful
Normal.
weather we're having. That's a reference to the SpongeBob episode if you haven't seen it.
No, I mean, normal is just a state of mind. It's... Okay, this is a completely different tangent over here that I'm going off on. there's no such thing as normal.
Well, yes, but I just was curious. Do you think you were robbed of a different type of... Like, do you think you have a different marriage than you would say, you know, if you married one of your ex-girlfriends? Do you think theirs would be more...
I can tell you right now, I've had ex-girlfriends that are crazier than you.
Well, you know...
I'm just saying.
Well, I know, like, the marriage would be different, but do you think... I don't know. Like, I was just kind of, like, wondering, like, do you feel like you were robbed of, like, I don't know, like, of a normal marriage where you don't have to worry about if your wife is going to go jump off a cliff or something, you know?
No, I don't think I've been robbed for that.
Do you think that you deserve something more than that?
No. Why would I deserve more than that?
Because I think you deserve somebody who's not cuckoo. I'm just saying. Don't you think?
There's nothing that I deserve, I don't think. I don't know why I'm more deserving.
Because, I mean, it all comes back to the point of, you know, you're with somebody who has so much fucking baggage to carry. And you, I mean, I don't mean to throw this term around, but vanilla. You're very vanilla.
I'm not vanilla, I'm just a nerd.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, you would think that you would have found somebody who was very vanilla instead of somebody who's very chocolate.
Vanilla's boring.
This is true. But you know what I mean? Like...
Also, I'm boring now?
No. I mean, or like somebody who's got, you know, like Rocky Road. Hello.
I'm not a big fan of Rocky Road, but...
I love Rocky Road. It's my favorite.
It's
Rude. Do you know of anybody else other than me who has suffered from mental health issues? Is there anybody... I don't know anybody in your family or anything. I guess we never really did discuss a whole lot about that. I mean, I know everybody deals with issues.
Yeah.
You know, everybody has their own issues, but like...
To the point where they necessarily needed therapy, not exactly, no.
Because, I mean, I don't want to discredit anybody who has, you know, their minor dips of depression and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's... You know, I'm just kind of curious because we've never actually discussed that. Like, any of your family members who had huge issues or anything. I mean, your family's more...
Major.
They got more medical issues than a lot. It's... I mean, it's a lot.
And that is true.
It is a lot, and it's
quite
very scary.
surprisingly, I'm surprised. I'm not saying I'm healthy, but I'm healthier than most people in my family.
I think it has a lot to do with smoking, to be quite honest, because I think your entire family smokes, don't they?
Well,
I mean, it doesn't help
most of the people that have had the major medical issues, yes, they have smoked.
Yeah, it's just, like, there's a lot of medical issues in his family, and it's scary. I'm not gonna lie, because it's just like...
Yeah.
Just thinking about it just makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Because it's just like... Yeah.
But as far as issues go, yeah. I mean, even my family's had issues.
Well, I mean, that's any family, but I'm just wondering if any big things stick out in your mind, because, like I said, we've never actually really talked about that.
I mean, nothing major. I mean, not that I can think of. I mean, have I known people that have had to go in and get help? Sure, but, I mean, is it on a personal level where... You know
all the details?
I know the details or anything like that? No, I don't.
Well, that's what I was just more curious if you knew anybody else that actually, might have had to go in or whatever. It's just, I don't know, I was kind of curious. Do you know of any triggers for me that kind of set me into a spiral? Have you noticed anything? I mean, obviously, that time of the year was obviously a huge one.
That was...
And I guess I never really... I mean, I don't really remember that all that much, but did you notice anything else? I mean, like, what was your...
Well, like I said, you know, you had, before this all happened, or before that day, you know, I would always kind of figure that it was that time of the year when you started acting a little bit different.
But, like, how... I still don't know how was I acting different. Like, how was I different? Like, I didn't feel like I was different. But, like, how would you know? Like, what... I know that's a totally different question. Sorry. Continue on with your first answer, and then we'll...
So, you would act different during that time of the year, so I would kind of figure, okay, it's gotta be...
But, like, how would I act different? Like...
It's hard to explain, like...
I'm just curious, because I want to know. Like, I'm curious.
The vast majority of the time, you were always this fun, happy, go lucky person that just did whatever, and then when it was that time of the year, you would, like you said, you know, with the school thing, you wouldn't want to get out of bed. Well, okay,
that's an everyday thing, but
but it'd be different. You know, there's a difference in not wanting to get out of bed and not wanting to get out of bed. You know, there were things that you would do, and your mannerisms would change, like. Just things that you would normally do, you didn't want to do anymore.
Like what?
That time of the year. Like I said, it's hard to explain because there's different...
I'm just curious because I'm just
like... It hasn't happened in forever.
I don't know what that means.
But it hasn't happened in forever, but there's things that, you know, it was just most of the time, yeah, okay, you love your sleep.
Yes, I do.
She loves her sleep. If she could be right now, she'd be sleeping probably. But it'd be different than not wanting to get out of bed just because you want to just be comfortable. You know, that was...
But was that like
your comfortable place? But then when it would be that around that time of the year, it wasn't so much a comfort thing. It was you literally physically did not want to move.
So was that like the biggest one?
That was one of the biggest ones, yeah.
Okay. Any triggers that you can remember other than just that time of the year? Nothing.
Nothing really.
I mean, it's pretty sad because I can sit and watch an SVU episode and not...
Yeah.
You know, for those of you who don't know, it's Law and Order Special Victims Unit. It's the sex crime unit or whatever. So I can watch TV shows and not really get too affected, but I wouldn't do that, I don't think, so much when I was down.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of got a little iffy.
Well,
I don't know.
Like, that brings up another point. Along with the not wanting to get out of bed during that time, you really didn't watch TV or do anything like that too much. You know, which is something you do all the time when you're watching TV, you know, kind of thing. So then you just wanted to stay in bed. You didn't want to do anything. You didn't want to watch TV. You didn't want to, you know. But as far as triggers go, I mean, other than that time of the year,
I think that was probably...
I think that was the...
Well, that and then
thing.
Seeing one of the boys, obviously, was what triggered the whole downward spiral. But that's the first time I've seen him since... You know, I graduated high school.
Right.
So, I think it was just a flood of emotions of something I'd never obviously experienced, but...
Yeah.
That obviously was a big trigger, but...
Well, yeah.
I don't know... I mean, I'm not going to go and find them to see if, you know, it triggers anything, but...
Right.
As much as possible, I want to avoid the assholes as much as I can. I mean, see my dad, I don't get triggered, because I've seen him before, I just don't talk to him. You know, I know he tried talking to me, he tried tickling me when I was, because we'll meet halfway, because my brother who lives with me wants to still go see him. So we'll meet halfway or whatever, and he'll want to talk, and I'm just like, no, I gotta go, I got things to do, you know. And he used to call me Kiwi when I was growing up. That was what he called me, and he would call me that. And I'm just like, no, I'm not buying this nice guy act anymore. It's a bunch of bullshit. But yeah, other than that, I guess I didn't know all of this. This is good information. I mean, that's kind of why I wanted him to sit down and give his perspective on things. Because it's like, obviously you notice more things than I do, because I'm just, you know, in it. Do you Okay, this is kind of a hard question. Well, it's not really a hard question, but I'll ask you the question and see if you think what I'm thinking with this question. Do you see glimpses of the old me, or am I just the same? Like, and that's kind of hard to explain. But like, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying. I mean, old you, new you. I mean, to me, there's not that much of a difference.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're still the same person.
Right.
The biggest change, like I said, is that time of the year you don't really go through it anymore since that whole reveal happened. So it's like, you know, do I see glimpses of the old you? Well, you're still the old you.
Well, yeah, but like...
But that's the main thing that's changed.
Right. It's so hard to explain. Like, I know what I want to say, but it's just like, I don't know how to explain it. But like, so you say I'm still me, which is fine, but is it more like an evolved me, or is it just still me?
There's
you know
difference.
What I mean?
Yeah, there's difference from the you before and the you now. But as far as like glimpses of the old you
Was cuckoo.
Let's not cuckoo. So you made the example of having all this baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? The old you
Carried it wherever I went.
Carried it with you like it was weighing you down.
Mm-hmm.
The new you carry it, but it's carried differently.
That's gonna make me cry.
So, I mean, have you changed? Have you evolved? Yeah, absolutely. But deep down, you're still the same person.
Well, yeah, obviously.
I mean, there's no... Deep down, there's no old you and no new you. There's a difference in how you carry the baggage that you have.
Well, pin a rose in your nose. Okay. Is there anything... I don't even know now. I ran out of questions. Is there anything else that you want to add? Is there anything you want to else talk about? Is there any questions you want to ask me about anything that you can think of?
Is there anything I could have done differently? You asked me if there was anything I could have or would have done differently. Is there anything I could have done differently?
To be honest, I don't think you could have. Because it's like you were there supporting me, and I think it's... I don't know how true this is for anybody else, but I think you kind of have to come to the realization yourself that you need help. I mean, obviously people can sit there and tell you, but you're not going to do it until you realize it. And it was like, you were just being supportive and stuff like that, and which I appreciate so fucking much. And I don't think there could have been anything else. You know, it was something that I had to realize that, okay, this isn't normal. We need to do I need to do something about it.
And I think you're right, because let's just go back to what you said earlier. You know, I said something, neither one of us remembers what I said, but you said, well, that's no fucking help.
Right.
Okay? Like you just said, I don't think there's anything I could have done differently. That's why when you said, you know, you were having these, and I said, if you need to go in to get help, go in to get help.
Right.
Because I knew there was nothing that I could do personally to help you get better.
Right.
I mean, I'll be there to support you forever. Well, as long as I can. With my family's health history, you never know. I will be there to support you for as long as I can, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said I knew there was, deep down I knew there was nothing I could do to help. I knew it.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing I could say to make you feel better. There was nothing I could do to comfort you to feel better. The most I could do is support you and say, if you need help, get help.
Mm-hmm. And I think, like, I don't think if you know, if my brother wouldn't have went into that place, I don't think I would have ever known anything about it, to be quite honest. And I wouldn't have known what my options were. So that's a blessing in and above itself. You know, because, you know, my brother went there because he had some issues as well. And so that's the only reason I knew about the Cuckoo House. It's because he went in there. Otherwise, I honestly don't know what would have happened if I didn't know about that place. Because it's like, that's not something you think of.
Well, I knew about it, not because I had been there or because your brother had been there, but because, you know, and my...
Well, I suppose at your job, I suppose.
Yeah, we had several people that actually wound up being there.
Okay, because, yeah, I mean...
You know, so... It kind of makes me wonder if you hadn't known about it, would you have said something?
I don't know. That's
You know?
because it's like, I had no idea it existed.
Yeah. So my thinking is, you know, would you have said something to make me know that you would have needed that kind of help, kind of thing. Whereas you knowing about it, you said something.
Well, I think because it was like that was what was on my mind. I think I still would have, you know, because that's why I didn't drive home.
Yeah.
That's why I had Grandma come pick me up, and I think I would have told you, but. I mean, because that was what was on my mind constantly at that point. But it's like, I don't know. Because I would have been like, I don't know what my options are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I would have been there to tell you what your options were, but at the same time, that's what I'm saying. You know, if you didn't know about it,
I know I would have told you.
Point.
I know I would have told you for sure what I was thinking because, you know, like I said, I didn't want to drive. I didn't want to do any of that.
Right.
But, like, I wouldn't come to the realization that, hey, I can make the steps to make myself feel better. And it's like, I don't know if you suggesting it, even though it would have been my choice, I don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because it'd be like, well, that's still his choice.
Right.
You know? But.
So.
Okay, so then what did you think about me being in the actual hospital for a week? Like, did you notice small changes, or did you see something from, you know, the first day I came in to the last day, or?
I mean, the last day that you were there, you definitely seemed happier than when you got there.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, was there changes? Yeah. Was there, like, major changes in you? Other than being happier, I don't really necessarily think there is.
Yeah, because it was like, I don't know, like, I even still keep in contact with one of the ladies that I was in there with. So it's very interesting because it's like, you know, you all know why you're there, and you kind of bond over that aspect of it. So, yeah. Any other questions?
I think so.
All right. Well, that's been an interesting conversation. But, well, alrighty. I think that's everything. Thanks for sitting down and talking to me.
Oh, did they?
Drug toes.
Your tootsie.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright, thanks guys. Boo.